The cargo bay of Station Kepler 442 smelled like rust and regret. Eli Carter navigated through the maze of abandoned equipment with practiced ease, his magnetic boots clanking against the metal floor. Most species treated this sector like a graveyard for things too broken to fix and too expensive to haul away. For Eli, it was a treasure trove. He'd found the Mammoth by accident. At first, he thought it was another derelict freighter, some massive bulk left to decay in the forgotten corner of the station. But then it moved, a shudder that sent vibrations through the deck plating. Eli's breath caught. The creature was enormous, easily 15 meters tall, with fur that shimmered like oil on water, shifting between deep purples and midnight blues. Its 6 legs were folded beneath its body, and its trunk, magnificent even in ruin, lay twisted and limp across the floor. The trunk had been broken, not just injured, but deliberately severed with clean, cauterized edges that spoke of medical precision. Someone had cut it off and left the wound to scar. Eli approached slowly, hands raised. "Easy there, big guy." The Mammoth's eyes, 3 on each side of its massive skull, tracked him with unsettling intelligence. A low rumble emanated from deep within its chest, a sound that Eli felt in his bones rather than heard. The universal translator on his wrist flickered, struggling to interpret. Pain. Alone. Worthless. "You're not worthless," Eli said softly, though he knew the creature probably couldn't understand his words any better than he understood its subsonic communication. But tone mattered. Tone always mattered. He'd seen this before. The Vorel Empire bred these magnificent creatures, they called them room-class haulers, as living cargo ships. Each one could carry hundreds of tons, navigate zero gravity with grace, and survive in vacuum for short periods. They were valuable, incredible, until they weren't. A broken trunk meant a room couldn't properly manipulate cargo, couldn't feed itself efficiently, couldn't perform the tasks it had been engineered for over countless generations. To the Vorel, that meant disposal. The Mammoth Room, Eli decided to call it after its species designation, watched as Eli settled onto a cargo crate a few meters away. He pulled out his toolkit and a ration bar, breaking it in half and eating slowly, deliberately, showing he meant no harm. "I fix things," Eli said conversationally. "That's what I do. Engines, life support systems, broken relationships, though I'm admittedly worse at that last one." He smiled. "Everyone else on this station? They're traders, diplomats, scientists. Me? I'm just the guy who makes stuff work again." Room's rumble softened slightly. Over the next week, Eli returned every day. He brought food, high-protein synthesized fodder that the station's xenobiology database suggested would be compatible with Room's digestive system. He brought blankets made from thermal-regulating fabric. He brought himself, sitting and talking about nothing and everything while Room watched with those ancient, sorrowful eyes. On the 8th day, Room let Eli touch him. The fur was coarser than it looked, almost metallic in texture. Eli ran his hand along the Mammoth's flank, feeling the vibrations of Room's subsonic communication through his palm. The translator had gotten better at interpreting over the past week. "Why, not useful, not whole." "You don't have to be useful to deserve kindness," Eli replied. "You don't have to be whole to be worthy of care." He'd been examining the trunk's severed end during each visit, taking scans, running calculations. The Vorel had done a thorough job, too thorough. They'd burned away the nerve clusters in a way that would prevent regeneration. But humans, Eli had learned during his 15 years working in xenoengineering, had a particular gift for thinking sideways. If you couldn't regrow something, you built it. The prosthetic took 3 months to design and another 2 to fabricate. Eli called in favors, traded expertise, and spent every credit he'd saved. The other engineers on the station thought he was crazy. The Vorel representatives, when they bothered to notice, were insulted that he'd waste resources on defective livestock. Eli didn't care. The prosthetic trunk was a masterpiece of human engineering, a hybrid of biomechanical interface technology and adaptive synthetic muscle. It wouldn't just replace what Room had lost. It would enhance it. Sensors that could detect chemical compositions, strength beyond what biological tissue could manage, the ability to interface directly with station systems. The surgery took 14 hours. Eli held Room's massive head in his lap during the neural integration, whispering reassurances while the xenosurgeon worked and monitors beeped their steady rhythm. When Room woke, the new trunk twitched experimentally. Once, twice. Then, with growing confidence, it reached out and gently wrapped around Eli's arm. "Thank you, but why?" Eli pressed his forehead against Room's. "Because everyone deserves a second chance. Because being broken doesn't mean being finished. Because—" He paused, feeling the weight of truth in his words. "Because humans believe that compassion isn't a weakness. It's our greatest strength." Within a month, Room was working again. Not for the Varel, but independently, as the first freelance Room-class hauler in known space. The prosthetic made him faster, stronger, more versatile than he'd ever been. Shipping companies competed for his services. He became something of a legend. But every night, Room returned to Sector 7 of Station Kepler 442, where Eli Carter would be waiting with synthesized fodder and stories about his day. Where a human and a mammoth sat together in comfortable silence, proof that sometimes the most advanced technology in the universe was simple kindness. And across the station, in the shadows of cargo bays and forgotten corners, other abandoned creatures began to appear, drawn by rumors of the human who fixed broken things. Eli's work, it seemed, had only just begun.